I read The Sword of Kaigen and I got something I was not ready for. I got a story that was full of heartbreak, that was full of sentiment, full of something real, full of something that I was not expecting. I was expecting a hardcore samurai fantasy. I was expecting something awesome and Avatar-y, and I did. I got some violent war, some type of stuff I didn't expect to see, some dudes' heads getting caved in, people getting sliced in half, some mystery tradition that I was not ready for. I got some things about love, some things about passion, some things about heartbreak, some things that are about familial ties and tradition and breaking bonds and remaking new ones and doing things you didn't expect you could do, while also being reminiscent of your past and not wanting to let go, but then having to and finding something better and learning more about who you are and what you could be. This book is fantastic. It provides conflict, provides resolution. It provides amazing character arc. It provides characters that are relatable and you want to win, and then you cry when they lose, and it gives you so much with so little. This is 600 pages, and you're getting more than you get with most of these 1,200 page trilogies. I was blown away by this book. You have to give it a try. Sword of Kaigen, mind blown. What I ended up finding was something I didn't even know I needed. What I ended up finding out was that maybe I have some type of deep-rooted mommy issues that I needed to deal with myself. But this mother and son relationship, this wife and husband relationship, these qualms that these people had to deal with and become just okay with and live with and just find resolution where it didn't seem like there would be, is something that really brought me on my own journey. Like watching them and reading them and finding out and being in their minds what it was like to do what they had to do and go from, worlds of tradition to the modern world, from what you want to be to who you are, and what you wanted to happen and what did actually happen, and having to deal with the fact that maybe your expectations aren't going to be met, and maybe that's a good thing, and maybe living with and dealing with the sorrow that comes with the life you could have had is kind of the price you pay for the life that you get. The gift of the present is maybe the loss of your previous self. I don't know, but maybe that's what I'm trying to get out of this, or maybe I'm trying to put something there that's not, but I felt like the character development in this book was amazing, fantastic. I loved it. I'm really impressed with it, and I can't wait to read Blood Over Bright Haven. That's on my TBR. I'm excited about it. The next book I'm going to read is going to be more character development, because I found that I think I'm just a person that loves character-driven stories. Now, I don't want it to come off like this book was just completely sentimental and all heartfelt and mushy and not for anybody that's a bro or has any type of grim, dark, violent tendencies. This book had lots of violence, lots of gore, blood, slicing, dicing, mushing, crushing, smashing, lashing, you name it. They had it going on, and I was here for it. I loved it. It was like the Avatar as if it was rated MA. This was a rated R version of Avatar, and I loved it. I was here all for it. I was actually here for that originally. That's why I came here. The Sword of Kaigen really brought me in because I figured it was going to be some type of violent fantasy samurai chopping people to pieces with some type of water bending, maybe some fire bending, some air bending, and it's what I got. But what you found underneath all of that gore and violence and hardcore cool world building is some type of characters and messages about sentiment and family and tradition and learning to accept things out of your control. And I think that is the greater message. And it's something that I'm happy that I got from this book because I was not expecting it. I mean, I wanted to get a standalone story, something to kind of break it up, give me just a little bit of a hiatus from all these long series of fantasies that are great. They're all engulfing and then just they bring you in and it makes you feel like you're part of their world. But this does the same thing in a quarter of the time. If we're looking at return on investment, you can't beat this. It's not often you come across a book that actually changes your way of thinking, your way of feeling, your way of understanding the world around you and making yourself kind of look in the mirror and maybe decide, hey, am I really kind of thinking about things the right way? Maybe could I have a different perspective? Maybe I need to change. And if you can read someone else's thoughts, someone else's words, and someone else's, mind and journey, and it can bring you to a place that you weren't on before or a place you weren't going before, I think that bang for your buck is there. I think the point of reading is really to put yourself in someone else's shoes. I've said it a million times. And the fact that not only was I in their shoes, but they took me on a journey. They brought me on a trail. We went on a hike together, and I was on their back and looking through their eyes and walking in their shoes, and it was crazy. It was a beautiful journey, and I was not expecting what I got out of it, and I'm happy to have had it happen to me. So this is one of those books where you're left thinking, wow, I want more. And I think that there is just so many books nowadays where it's like, hey, you have this trilogy, you have this 7 books, 9 books, 12 books, 30 books, whatever, you name it. And it is so well fleshed out. It is so well defined and so well thought out, and every detail is expressed and everything is taught to you and told to you in explicit detail that you have no chance to really explore the ideas yourself, right? And you don't have the opportunity to really explore it and have the time to maybe, stew in it a little bit, become a beef stew, and just get a little bit more tender. Just marinate in the sauce that is this story instead of just being completely drowned in what is the just gripping details and maps. And, and don't get me wrong, there are maps and there's glossaries and there's all sorts of things that are in this book that kind of give you more that's just outside of the general text. But I almost think that the fact that it has this kind of is to lend to the imagination, because the book doesn't even reference half the stuff that they put in this glossary. It's almost there to like throw you off the trail, because I was almost deterred from reading this book because there is such a thick learning curve, if you would. There's fake words. They have different words for the second, minute, and hour of the day. This is an immense world building. Your introduction into the world of the Sword of Kaigen is going to be a little bit abrasive, because there is a whole different world here. This isn't just like, hey, this is some weird traditional fantasy that maybe you can kind of, oh, I've seen this before. You haven't seen this before. You haven't seen this before at all. The closest thing is Avatar, and it's not that close. So I'm very impressed with it. I love it. And the themes of just tragedy and sorrow and triumph and retribution and honor, duty, sense of belonging, and coming to grips with your tradition and what it means to you, and what it means in this modern world, and how you're going to come to grips with the idea that maybe, just maybe your ideals, the things that you held the most true, your virtues, are based upon something that might not be the right thing. And coming to the ideas that maybe your whole idea of identity and your whole being is based on maybe not a lie, but a falsehood, not necessarily a truth either. And so when you come to grips with that, and you have to see that face to face in your life at, any stage of the process, your man, woman, father, son, daughter, you name it, it's going to be something that's going to be very altering, it's going to be jarring. It's going to have an effect on you. And you see that in great detail in this story. Saying I'm impressed would be a severe understatement. Reading the Sword of Kaigen was like opening up a box of chocolates that you were expecting to find, some delicious little Dove, some Godiva, maybe a little Hershey's, a kiss in there, maybe, if you would, and you're like, okay, some good old chocolate. And you found a little golden nugget. Not a golden nugget, that's a chocolate euphemism. No, like a piece of gold, a real piece of gold. That's what it feels like. I had no idea it was this good. I feel like people are sleeping on it, and I just might be having a visceral reaction because I just was so surprised. And it's like, hey, your expectations are here, and then you deliver here, and so you're going to feel amazing. It's like under-promising and over-delivering, and that's what happened here. ML Wang did an amazing job. I'm blown away. And there's not to say there isn't shortcomings. This book is not a 10 out of 10. I did say it was a 10 out of 10 before, but I think it's more maybe like a 9.5. It is very good. But I think the commitment to character development and not allowing not even one character to have a boring or flat character arc, the fact that she was so committed to the characterization and the development of these characters, there led to some parts where you're like, hey, that felt forced. I don't think you actually need that in the story. And that's me nitpicking. I'm nitpicking here. I loved it. There was parts of this. I couldn't believe what they did to the main character of this story. I couldn't believe the journey that they said. I couldn't believe the descriptions. I mean, I'm a grown man. I was reading this book. I was in chapter 20. I was crying. I had tears in my eyes. I was trying to stop them from going down my cheeks, because that's when it counts. When it touches your cheek, that's when it counts as crying. So these were just tears welled up, I had to close the book maybe 5-6 times. I could not deal with this. It was too much. The emotions, the duel between the people. I mean, I don't want to do spoilers, but I mean, there's a duel later in the book. Oh my gosh. The intensity, the gravity of it, the passion, the pain, the sorrow, the regret, the just destitute feelings being expressed through physical violence between two people that maybe should or should not even be fighting. I don't know. It felt right at the time. It felt like the right thing to do to me. And then the fact that some people just had to just live up to expectations that were just so far and above and beyond what should have been expected of them, but yet they did it. They delivered. They delivered when, in the face of adversity and pain and sorrow and things that they shouldn't have had to deal with, they came through clutch. I got goosebumps. I got the goose flesh right now talking about the story. I got passion for it, right? Loved it. So happy I got to read this book. If you have not read it, you need to read it, okay? You need to read it. It delivers in all the categories. I'm impressed with it. World building, check. Character development, triple check. Conflict, double check. Everything's here. I mean, world building, maybe triple check too. It was top-notch world building. Thanks for watching. I'm actually on a whole binge of Asian-inspired fantasy books. I am reading Jade City. I also am reading Poppy War. I'm about to read the Three-Body Problem. I actually just got done reading The Stand, and I'm working on the Lycanius trilogy video. You don't even want to get me started on the Lycanius trilogy. We're gonna see how we feel about that. There's a lot to say about that book. I could probably just keep going on days and days, but I want to make this one a little bit shorter, easier for you guys to digest. I can go in more depth about this. If you guys love Sword of Kaigen like I do, I would love to make another video. Thank you for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one for more book vomit.